welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you.
Good morning. I'm Susan Rogers, and I will be presenting service today along with Caitlin Ballinger. Robin Perry and Kevin are providing technical assistance. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are glad that we can keep in touch and support our community, even if we can't be together in person. Please be aware that we are recording this service and it will be posted on our Facebook and our YouTube pages. We greet you today as you join us in a wider search for truth and purpose. In this quest, may we encounter one another with open hearts and minds. May we inspire each other to consider new questions and seek deeper meaning. And may we cultivate wisdom and compassion. Let all who enter this place see a welcome face, hear a kind word, and find comfort in this community. May all that we do and say here today help us to be a force for positive change in the world. Please take a moment to think of all your friends at MVUUC, greet them with a comment in the chat box, and remember that you can still reach out to them via email, phone, social media, or video chat. Physical distancing does not mean emotional distancing, so let us support one another. Visitors, as we are a diverse group with varying interests and beliefs, our services are varied in format, tone, and topic. We encourage you to view several services to gain an understanding of our congregation. If you would like to receive our weekly email newsletter, please email us at news@mvuuc.org. MVUUC remains committed to supporting our members and friends during this difficult time of social distancing. For that reason, we are coordinating assistance with groceries, phone calls, and other needs. If this sounds like something that would be helpful to you, please send an email to sac@mvuuc.org with your name and what kind of assistance you would like to request. Now is the time for announcements. Announcements can be sent ahead of time to services at MVUUC to be read. If you have an important announcement right now, you can raise your hand by clicking the raise hand button, which is in the reactions area now of Zoom. Then we will announce your name and turn on your mic and camera so that you can make the announcement yourself. So Robin, are there any announcements today?
Yes, we have one announcement in email from Winnie Rex. The discussion group, which was formerly the Spirit and Practice group, is meeting today at 1 on Zoom. You can contact Winnie Rex at winrexx@gmail.com if you would like to join this meeting or to decide the direction of that group in the future. Megan has her hand up, so I will ask to unmute and start video.
Morning, everyone. Just a few announcements from Social Action. Today is the day that I will be at the church building to collect items. If you have donations to make for the Wood County Humane Society. So if you have any unopened, unexpired dog or cat food around the house, or if you have time to go out and buy something today, I will be at the church building from 1 to 3 p.m. Today. And then tomorrow, I'm just going to bring everything over to the Humane Society. The other option is you can go to their website and purchase items from their Amazon wish list. My only request is that if you do that, could you please write me an email at sac@mvuuc.org. I'll put it in the chat. Just to let me know that you made that donation so that I can have a good idea of how much we donated, and then, I can report that in our newsletter in the future. So if you have any questions, my email is sac@mvuuc.org. The only other announcement is that this week we will have Anti-Racism Book Club on March 4th. That's Thursday, March 4th at 7 p.m. through Zoom. And oh, yes, good suggestion, Colleen. Buy it through smile.amazon.com with MVUUC selected as your charity. If you would like to join the Anti-Racism Book Club and you're not sure how, just send me an email again at sac@mvuuc.org. Thank you very much.
Okay, and then just a quick announcement from me, actually. I see we have a lot of new people in the Zoom today. Matheos, Trisha Chambers, someone on a Galaxy Tab A I have not seen before, Renee, I'm sorry, probably Renee, and someone named Ann Lapidus. If any of you are interested in more contact with MVUUC, we do have a Facebook page that is pretty well updated. We also have a website, which is mvuuc.org. Which you can actually sign up for our weekly newsletter on that website. Trisha actually just emailed me to ask to be subscribed to the newsletter, so I will definitely do that. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to also direct message me through Zoom here while we are in service. So if you want to get into more contact with MVUC, I would recommend our Facebook page or our website, but I just want to say hi to all the new people I'm seeing today. And I think that is it for now.
All right. Then our chalice will be lit today by Susan Rogers. And please join me in reading the words for the chalice lighting that appear as a comment in the chat box. Today's words come from Reverend Sarah Lammert. The element of fire represents passion, veracity, authenticity, and vitality. We are the flame fanned strong by our passion for freedom, our yearning for truth-telling, our daring to be authentic with one another, and the vitality we sustain in our meeting together. In all of this, there is love. And now Lynn Israel will lead us in our opening song, hymn number 360, Here We Have Gathered.
Here we have gathered side by side, circle of kinship, come and step inside. May all who seek here find a kindly word. May all who speak here feel they have been heard. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Here we have gathered, called to celebrate know each other's pain. Kindness can heal us as we give, we gain. Sing now in friendship this our heart's own song.
And now our opening words from Shonda Rhimes. They tell you, follow your dreams, listen to your spirit, change the world, make your mark, find your inner voice and make it sing. Embrace failure, dream, dream and dream big. As a matter of fact, dream and don't stop dreaming until your dream comes true. I think that's crap. I think a lot of people dream, and while they're busy dreaming, the really happy people, the really successful people, and the really interesting, powerful, engaged people, they're busy doing what they can, even if it's not perfect. Good morning. I'm Caitlin Ballinger, and I have the pleasure of speaking with you all today. Thank you so much to Lisa, who asked me to join, and to Susan Rogers, and as well Robin and Kevin, who have offered me so much assistance in making today happen. In a speech given on the anniversary of the Selma March, Reverend Dr. Joseph Lowry proclaimed that he had gone to the doctor where he discovered that his cholesterol was a little high. It was there that he also learned that there is good cholesterol and there is bad cholesterol. He went on to say that, like cholesterol, there's good crazy and there's bad crazy. Sometimes you need a little bit of crazy to make the world a better place, he said. Good crazy. You might be asking yourself, what exactly constitutes good crazy? Don't worry, he gave us an example. Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad, that's good crazy. This theory can be applied to more than just cholesterol and seemingly impossible out there solutions. I believe in, and for the last couple of years, have been practicing the theory of good mediocrity. It might seem like an oxymoron at first, good mediocrity, but sometimes it's good or even refreshing and joyful to be bad and to be okay with it. Author Glennon Doyle writes, "One of the keys to happiness is accepting that I am never going to be perfectly happy. Life is uncomfortable. Life is messy. Life is hard. So I might as well get busy loving the people around me. I might as well get busy loving finding joy in the things I can do, even if I can't do them well. What a privilege, what a joy it is to fail." For me, that says it all. What a privilege it is to live this messy, uncomfortable life, and I might as well enjoy it and give it all I've got. So why don't we? Why don't we wake up every day in utter awe of all that we can attempt, and instead focus on what we can, or sometimes more often, on what we can't accomplish? We rise and think to ourselves, if only, or I can't, I couldn't possibly. I believe more often than not, it is fear that leads us to this place of not enough. Fear tells us that we are crazy for thinking we ever could. Fear tells us that we are not worthy. Fear tells us that we cannot try. What I know, though, is that you are enough and you most certainly can. A couple years ago, I realized, just as I mentioned above, that fear dictated many of my decisions. Don't get me wrong, pride, joy, and a sense of adventure, rebelliousness, also guided their fair share of decisions too. But the vast majority were made from a place of fear, a place of not enough. And the conclusion I came to was that although there were many things to love in my life, I didn't love the overall life fear was creating for me. So I made a series of small, conscious changes. I decided to throw myself into something that I had never done and had zero evidence that I would be any good at. I started rock climbing. And let me tell you, I did not know anything about it, and I was not very good at all. In fact, other than gymnastics when I was maybe 5, it might be the one thing I have attempted to date at which I am the worst. But boy, did I love learning something new. There was something freeing about it. I loved using my body in that way. I loved seeing stronger, more graceful climbers and what they could accomplish. Having attempted climbing, even terribly, gave me a better understanding and appreciation of the skill of others. Climbing brought me a sense of peace. I describe it as meditation in motion, like Tai Chi meets strength conditioning. Even on easy routes, I felt powerful and forced to slow down and act with more intention. Rock climbing brought joy into my life, and for a few moments each route, put fear on the shelf. That was kind of my first FU to fear, and I considered it a small success. But as I climbed for longer, I found myself sitting on the sidelines and watching more than climbing, afraid to make a fool of myself or waiting for a friend to comment that I should be climbing harder routes than I was after dedicating a couple years to the hobby. So I looked at what else I had been interested in doing and never attempted because I wasn't sure I'd be good enough, or perhaps more importantly, I had evidence that I would be really terrible. I needed something bigger, deeper, to cultivate a stronger resilience in me. I found that thing this past year. Until a couple months ago, I'd have told you that although I might be handy or crafty, maybe even artistic, I am also a terrible drawer. I'd have told you I do not possess the skill to draw well. Because drawing is the foundation of most other mediums, I would also never claim the title of artist. These are deep-seated beliefs growing up in an artistic household and attending performing arts high schools. In these spaces, I quickly learned my talent and stuck to my lane. I was the musical one. I might dabble and appreciate visual arts, but I was never the visual artist. Fine arts were not my lane. Knowing this, and that it is a truth I have held for about 23 of my 27 years on this planet, what do you think I tackled next? You guessed it. In November, I specifically requested a set of illustration pens, watercolor notepads, and a watercolor palette. My mother excitedly shipped me top-notch materials, and I set to work. A couple YouTube videos taught me how to draw flowers, and a straight edge helped me to replicate other artists' illustrations that I loved. I drew a lot of unrecognizable things, a lot of scribbles, a lot of mistakes. I went from terrible to mediocre as I explored the options and practiced daily. That was the important part of this endeavor. I committed to drawing or painting every day for at least the first 2 weeks, and I photographed every one. I had actively set up systems in my life that would not let fear ease back in and put me on the sidelines as it had done with climbing. I shared each of these photographs with my family and mailed them to friends. I'm in the process of posting an album on Facebook, which I will share to the MVUC page, so all of you can see the okay, the bad, and the ugly. The structures I put in place this time around my illustrations made it a spiritual practice. I kept a daily, now weekly routine, had personal purpose in doing the art, and found spiritual growth not just from the art, but from the act of doing something at which I wasn't great. I added intention, a why. And you know what? Just like climbing, I find joy just in the act of creating, no matter the product. And the more I share, people have shared with me that my drawings bring them joy as well. Again, no matter the product. Part of my spiritual practice now is to include illustrating in my list of hobbies. It has taken a certain amount of audacity for me to do this, but the key for me is I never claim to be good, only that I do it. This practice, even just over the last 4 or so months, has opened my eyes to a lot more joy, more creating, and a spontaneity that is still dimmed by fear sometimes, but not nearly as often. I literally smile more and gratitude flows more readily. In preparing for this service, I read way too many quotes about success and failure. Most of these quotes name failure as a necessary tool or evil on the path of success. This still paints failure as something to be overcome, even if it's eventually. That's not quite what I'm advocating. I'm advocating for adding something new or something you know you aren't good at but find joy in as a spiritual practice. Do it with intention. Do it to find growth from the experience. Commit to doing it for a set period of time and at regular intervals. Don't do it just to find success at the end of the road. Choose something that maybe you don't have evidence you'll be good at. I think that's the spiritual practice, is doing it to be bad. Now, as you try this, people might try and convince you to stop because you just aren't good. Don't. If you find you do have a talent, others might try to convince you to market and sell your craft as a side hustle. If that feeds your soul, get after it. But that comes after and is not the goal. The simple act of doing is the goal. May we look to Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." I'll leave you with words from the two people I quoted earlier, Reverend Dr. Joseph Lowry and author Glennon Doyle. If you feel something calling you to dance or write or paint or sing, please refuse to worry about whether you're good enough. Just do it. Be generous. Be crazy. Offer a gift to the world that no one else can offer, yourself. What's the worst that could happen? May you have the audacity to be mediocre and proud. Embrace your good crazy regularly and with intention. Know that you are worthy, you are enough, and you can. Maybe just not very well. Peace, and may it be so. Now, I have also been asked to do the UU principle connection. So for me, the principles related here, for those of you who are new to UU or those who are extremely familiar with our 7 and now 8 principles, I believe the ones related here are our first, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. When we live our first principle, we give value to the person, not their success, productivity, income, social beauty, skills, etc. This then gives permission and grace for all of us to fail and even to practice failing or just being middle of the road. Our fourth principle, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Similar to our first principle, this ideal can offer space and grace, but I think it goes a little bit deeper. Our fourth principle isn't just about being granted permission. It calls us to actively pursue our own personal journey, searching for truth and meaning. This, to me, is especially important when I think about mediocrity as a spiritual practice, an action, a study, a pursuit. Another principle pulled in is our third, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth. This third one effectively combines our previous two, our first and fourth, when I think about the topic of today's service. Not only am I called to be active in my pursuit of truth and meaning, not only am I worthy of grace and value, and am I valuable regardless of my success or achievements, but I believe that you too are called and granted these things as well. And finally, for those who are new to the eighth principle regarding race relations and the importance of Unitarian Universalism to take a stand and fight for equality. I believe that while doing those things poorly can sometimes cause more damage, it takes people making small changes. So even if you're not doing everything that you possibly could, I believe that principle and this practice are related. And so even taking small steps or doing things maybe not to the best of your ability, those are still important positive changes. So those are our principles and how they relate today. And now, as a musical interlude, we'll hear a different version of Gather the Spirit. It has socially distanced lyrics. The original song and performance will be done by Jim Scott. The updated lyrics are by Pat LaManna.
I wrote this song 30 years ago so my friend Pat LaManna could give it this contemporary message. Gather in spirit, not face to face. Let's do what we can to flatten the curve. Wash your hands often and don't touch your face. This virus is something no one deserves. Gather on Skype, gather on Zoom, gather by phone with family and friends. Gather online, but don't leave your room. Let's all stay safe until this crisis ends. Gather on Facebook, but not for too long. There's so many ways to sweeten the time. Take up crochet, write a new song, read a good book, bake brownies sublime. Gather on Skype, gather on Zoom, gather by phone with family and friends. Gather online, but don't leave your room. Let's all stay safe until this crisis ends. Gather in spirit, pray for the scared, the sick and the poor, the lonely at home. Count all your blessings and reach out and share. Let everyone know that they're not alone. Gather in Skype, gather on Zoom, gather by phone with family and friends. Gather online, but don't leave your room. Let's all stay safe until this crisis ends.
That was wonderful. Now more than ever, we are counting on your pledge payments and donations to help sustain and strengthen our mission that is so important to all of us. Supporting our efforts to be a community of love, truth, justice, and service. Please click on the link in the chat box or scan the QR code. And be sure to select the correct designation on the drop-down box when you donate. Thank you.
And now, Paul Thompson will lead us in a song. Please join us as we sing Blue Boat Home.
Oh, below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, grieve the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Before I read our closing words for today, I would like to also add a thank you to the UUA. We had some new hymns today, new recordings. So thank you to Lynn Israel, who recorded our opening video and our first hymn. But also thank you to the UUA for providing some resources for us to use during these virtual services. I know it's hard not being able to be together with our musician friends. Our closing words today are by Tess Baumberger, titled Stirred by the Spirit. We exist within this interstitial surface, tensed between past and future. This violet veil undulating between health and illness, this filmy membrane polished between body and spirit, this alert eardrum reverberating between human and divine. We are sunrise with a remembrance of dusk. We are a soul with patina of soil. We are stillness with mere veneer of words. We are smooth surface of water, stirred by the Spirit. May we remember all of who we are. Amen. And if you would join me as we extinguish our chalice, the words for the extinguishing will be put in the chat. Our time together today is finished, but our work is not done. May we leave here our souls refreshed, our spirits sparked. Go now in peace as you re-enter a world full of possibility and wonder.
So after the service, we will turn on all videos and mics. Feel free to stay in Zoom and chat with your fellow MBUUC members and friends during the coffee hour. Please be patient as turning on the cameras will be done one at a time, and it can take a few minutes to get to everybody. And now for our closing song. Let us sing Go With the Song in Your Heart. You can find the words as a comment in the Zoom chat box.
Go with the song in your heart. Go with music in your soul. Leave with the memory of a melody. Go with the song in your heart. Go with the song in your heart. Now until we meet again. The joy of music is our gift to you. Go with the song in your heart. Live with the memory of a melody. Go with the song. Go with the song. Go with the song in your heart.
Thank you, Lynn. I love that song. This is the end of the service, but please stay for the coffee hour that follows. Thank you.
Woo, we did it.
Easy peasy.
You did it, and you did it well.
You did a wonderful job, Caitlin. That
Yeah,
was
Caitlin,
Ah,
that was fabulous.
thank you.
Nice job, Caitlin.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Anytime, seriously, just tell me
Thanks,
dates you want to
Charlie.
do it, man.
Yeah, it's lovely to have a new voice